Did we really land on the moon? On July 20th, 1969, humanity took one of its most celebrated steps. Neil Armstrong set foot on the moon. Or did he? Today we're diving into one of the most controversial theories that argues the moon landing was staged. Let's explore the claims, evidence, and what skeptics believe happened behind the scenes. The idea the moon landing was faked gained traction in the 1970s. In 1976, a book titled We Never Went to the Moon by Bill Kaysing argued that NASA lacked the technology to send humans safely to the moon. Kaysing, a formal technical writer at Rocketdyne, claimed the US government staged the landing to win the space race against the Soviet Union. The theory tapped into Cold War tensions, suggesting that the United States needed a victory to demonstrate technological superiority, even if it meant faking history. Supporters of the hoax theory point to several anomalies in the Apollo footage and photos. The flag waving. In photos, the American flag appears to ripple as if blown by wind. But since the moon has no atmosphere, skeptics argue that this is evidence of filming on Earth on a set. No stars in photos. Moon surface photos rarely show stars. Hoax theorists suggest this indicates the scenes were shot in a studio with poor lighting or intentionally left blank. Shadows and lighting. Some images show shadows going in multiple directions. This, they argue, suggests studio lighting rather than a single sun illuminating the scene. Van Allen radiation belts. Traveling to the moon would require passing through the Van Allen radiation belts. Skeptics claim astronauts could not survive such high radiation doses with 1960s technology. Counterarguments and scientific explanations. While the hoax theory is popular online, scientists and engineers have tried to provide explanations. The flag movement. The flag was designed with a horizontal rod to stay extended. Ripples are caused by movement when astronauts planted it. No visible stars. Cameras were set for bright lunar surface lighting. Stars are too dim to show against the lit surface. Shadows and lighting. Uneven lunar terrain caused shadows to fall at different angles, creating an optical illusion of multiple light sources. Van Allen belts. Astronauts passed through the belts quickly, and the spacecraft's shielding provided sufficient protection from radiation. Lunar laser ranging. Retroreflectors left by Apollo missions still reflect laser beams today, confirming astronauts visited the moon. Why the theory persists. So if evidence exists, why do people still believe the moon landing was faked? Conspiracy theories often thrive due to the distrust of government and authority, misinterpretation of scientific data, or photographic anomalies. Viral media and internet communities amplifying skepticism. Despite decades of evidence and international verification, this theory remains a fascinating example of how history can be questioned and why critical thinking is crucial. The space race context. To understand the hoax theory, you have to understand the pressure. The United States and Soviet Union were locked in a fierce rivalry known as the space race. After the Soviet launched Sputnik and sent the first human into space, the US was falling behind. Landing on the moon became a symbol of victory, one that some believe America had to win, no matter what. Technical limitations. Another major argument is technological capability. Computers in 1969 were far less powerful than even a modern smartphone. So critics ask, how could NASA calculate trajectories, land on the moon, and return safely with such limited computer power? To skeptics, it just doesn't add up. Debunking the filming. Even filmmakers have weighed into this theory. Experts argue that the special effects required to make the moon landing convincing didn't exist at the time. Ironically, it may have been harder to fake the moon landing than to actually go. Audio transmission mysteries. Some skeptics question the audio transmissions between astronauts and mission control. They argue that the clarity and timing of the communication seemed too perfect for a signal traveling nearly 240,000 miles. There are also claims of strange pauses and delays that don't match expectations. However, engineers explain that radio signals travel at the speed of light, resulting in only about a 1.3-second delay each way. What sounds unusual today may actually be exactly what physics predict. The lost tapes controversy. In the early 2000s, it was revealed that the original recordings of the Apollo 11 moonwalk had been misplaced. To conspiracy theorists, this was a major red flag. How could such historic footage be lost? NASA later explained that the tapes were likely erased and reused during a time when data storage was extremely limited and expensive. Still, for some, the damage to trust had already been done. Whistleblower claims. Over the years, a handful of individuals have claimed insider knowledge of a hoax. These alleged whistleblowers often described secret film sets, government cover-ups, and hidden operations. However, none of these claims have been verified with credible evidence, and many have been debunked or contradicted by documented history. Lunar dust and footprints. Photos show clear footprints of the moon's surface. Critics ask, how can footprints form without moisture? On Earth, footprints often rely on water binding particles together. But scientists say lunar soil is different. It's made of a fine, jagged particle that compact easily under pressure, allowing footprints to hold their shape even in a vacuum. In conclusion, whether you believe it was real or staged, one thing is certain. The story of the moon landing continues to captivate the world. And maybe that's why it still matters today, because sometimes the biggest mysteries aren't just about what happened, but about what we choose to believe. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below if you personally believe in the moon landing or if you believe it was fake. Also, make sure to check out my last video on the conspiracy that Hitler found Agartha.